Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris Man. And as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. I'm going to do an analysis on the group that I actually thought I did already. Like, how did I miss these guys? So, one of my favorite 70s bands of all time, Slave. The 70s was a good era in many cases, or should I say for many reasons, especially for music. Because I always say that I thank God that I grew up in the era that I did. And by no means I'm trashing this era. I'm just saying that they're fond memories that I have of that era. And, I think of the present versus the 70s. It's like a lot of good things was going on back then that were trying to get started. And now it's like, don't know what to say. But veering off the topic, forgive me, getting back to it. Slave. What I can say about Slave is, first of all, these guys were like teenagers when they first started. Drac, I believe, was like 17 years old when he played that famous solo on Slide. And of course, Mr. Mark's bass line, I think that's one of the greatest, most recognized bass lines in R&B history. It's just amazing that these young guys got together and put together such great product. Because one thing that I love about that era versus now is this. When you went to the record store and bought your favorite new album, you got home, you got to read the information as far as who did what, who played what, pictures of these guys. On the back of the first Slave album, you got a picture of all these guys, their names, what they played. A lot of good information, especially if you're in the process of embarking on that same journey as far as a career in music. Fast forward to 2017, you get a download. You don't get no information as far as who did this. You just get a download. And then also, as far as the credits, back then, again, who played what, who produced what, who wrote nothing, who wrote what. Now, download. It's just unfortunate. And then it's also back then, many guys put together the album. And then not to mention the guys that were in the band, but sometimes they bring in other keyboard players or whatever to help finish the project. Nowadays, you got one guy playing keyboard. And it sounds like one guy playing keyboard or putting together the whole album. And it's just that, the more people, the different mixture that goes into the pot. So you get a variety of good stuff as opposed to just one dude putting together the whole album. And as far as I would say that era in that particular band was a great era for a band physical makeup, meaning that there was a live drummer, no drum machines. There was a hell of a fat bass player. There was two guitar players, one on the right, one on the left, one playing the rhythm, one playing the chicken picking, as they would say. Then there was the multiple singers, the background, the lead vocals, the horn section, not synthesizer, but real guys playing trombones, trumpets, and saxophone. That was a really good treat back then. I think that was, in my opinion, the best setup at that time as far as R&B band. The instruments that I just mentioned, instead of, again, everything just strictly keyboard based. And again, it's just one guy putting together the whole album. Like I said, just a great era, a great band. These guys were really young when they first started. And I look back now and listen to the stuff, and I'm like, and I have even more appreciation for it now since I'm a musician myself, because I look at bands like the Blackbirds, Brass Construction. Initially, when I used to hear them, I said, these guys, nobody sing a lead, And then I look back and I said, well, it worked for them because they sang in unison and in harmonies, and they sounded good. There was no person that was not in the key or octave thing that was not harmonizing. Everything was perfect, and they just were great musicians. And as far as, and I'm not knocking today's music. I'm not one of them people that, I respect what the young folks are doing. It's just that as you are an older person, you really appreciate what you were given. Because here's an interesting analysis. I'm sitting in the car with my father. I got my music on. Turn that music down. That ain't real music. Billy Eckstein, blah, blah, blah was real music. Fast forward, 20 years later, I'm sitting in the car with my son. He got his music on. And I'm like, hey, that ain't real music. Real music is Marvin Gaye, Bass Construction, Rick James. And what's interesting about that scenario is this. Even though it was different styles of music, it was good music. It was good musicians playing music. As opposed to now, again, one guy putting together the whole album, the music. Then one guy half singing. You know, it's interesting and hilarious that you got people like Lil Wayne that get up on stage and can't play an instrument, but just trying. I'm like, these people should demand their money back because they're not being entertained. They're being experimented on. Let me get up on stage and do I can't play. And just since I'm popular, I'm gonna just strum and try to do some stuff, and I don't know what I'm doing. Who wants to pay to see that? You shouldn't have to pay to see that because that's not entertainment. But again, I really appreciate that I grew up in the era that I did and the exposure of music that I was exposed to because, the brass constructions, the slave, it's just we got a treat, and it's unfortunate that, as time progresses, things change in people's lives. And I'm just going to mention this. It's related, but it's not about the music. But, you have to acknowledge this, that Mr. Mark was one of the greatest bass players that I've ever heard. And, he was murdered. Plain and simple, he was murdered. And they still haven't found the people that were responsible for killing him. And they should, hopefully. And him and Drake, is it Drake? They actually passed away the same year, a couple of months away apart from each other, I believe in 2011, and they were in their early 50s, so I just want to do a quick video to actually pay tribute to a great band, Slave. I still listen to their stuff today, and I still enjoy it today, and again, I thank God I grew up in an era that I enjoyed great music, several or groups of guys, not just, again, one guy putting together the whole record. One guy singing. It was groups of guys collectively getting together and producing great product for us to listen to. I used to couldn't wait to get to the record shop because when I was a kid, I hung out two places. On the ball field, because I used to love to play baseball and softball, and the record shop. That was it. Those, if I wasn't there, I was at home or in school. And it's just a great era for me. And I'm glad, again, that I experienced it. So I'm going to sign off now. Until next time, take care, and thanks for watching.